for Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad anytime soon.
It's my deep belief that any actions to the contrary in order to destroy the legitimate government will create a situation which you can witness now in the other countries of the region or in other regions, for instance in Libya, where all the state institutions are disintegrated. We see the similar situation in Iraq. And there's no other solution to the Syrian crisis than strengthening the effective government structures and rendering them help in fighting terrorism, but at the same time urging them to engage in positive dialogue with the rational opposition and conduct reform.
With all the problems overseas, with the European migration crisis, ISIS, Iran, and Putin, will Obama's foreign policy be a liability for Democrats in 2016? Joining us now from Los Angeles, Rick Grinnell, a former U.S. spokesman at the United Nations, and in Washington, Democrat strategist Simon Rosenberg. I'm going to start with you, Rick. All these foreign policy issues that President Obama seems to be, having trouble with, is that going to bode well for Republicans?
I think if Republicans can take advantage of the fact that they can be leaders on national security, it's going to be a benefit. Certainly, if Hillary Clinton is the nominee, she's not going to be able to run from this feckless foreign policy of Obama. I mean, look, what we just saw with Putin is that he's challenging the U.S. policy that Assad should go. He's saying, nope, we don't want Assad to go. We're going to back him up. We're going to really prop him up, and we're going to give him military support. That is unbelievable when you think about Russia standing up and just literally dismissing the Hillary Clinton reset button and Barack Obama's U.S. policy. And so being challenged on the global stage and not doing anything about it makes Democrats look incredibly weak.
What about it, Simon? So we thought it couldn't get worse with Iran basically yelling death to America and then getting their deal to go forward. And now Russia says, you know what, we're going to put some fighters, we're going to put some jet fighters in support of Bashar al-Assad. Where's the administration? They've completely backed them into a corner.
Sure. It's clearly an unwelcome development. And I think that the combination of this with the refugee crisis in Europe is making it clear to the administration they have to do more. And I hope that there's two pieces of what they do going forward. One is getting serious about a political settlement in Syria that allows the Sunnis and the allies with the Saudis and the Qataris to have more say in the governance of their own country.
Yeah, how are you going to do that, Simon? There's a migration crisis going on right now. Right. You're suggesting solve the Syrian crisis before we deal with the migration crisis.
No, but they're connected. And I think the point is we need to start having a serious political talks to give the Sunnis the fuel that's fueling ISIS is the Sunni discontent in Syria. So just let me finish two things. Political talks to give more Sunni representation, stepped up military campaign. It's clearly where we have to go, and I hope that the president leads us there in the weeks to come.
President leads. That's what Simon just said, Rick. But the president already said, let's lead from behind. I don't know. It seems like he's leading from his behind.
Well, look, Simon said it's an unwelcome development. It's not only unwelcomed, but it's unsurprising when you look at the 7 years of the Obama administration. No one should be surprised in Washington. D.C. needs to wake up because every single foreign policy position that this White House has turned out to be a disaster for the United States. We are weak negotiators. We are not surprised when Putin stands up to us. After all, he grabbed Crimea. He's watching what's happening in the South China Sea. We just saw today the Chinese president just literally stand at the White House podium and make Obama look like a fool. He challenged every position. He said, we don't even have any cybersecurity examples, Mr. President. What are you talking about, this hacking? We look feckless to the world, and no one should be surprised that now we have Putin completely inside Syria propping up the Assad government when the United States position is the Assad should go.
I'm not even sure if that's even the position, Rick. I have no idea what the United States position is. We hear President Obama saying, here's the red line, we draw the red line, they don't do anything, then we're going to support the rebels. The rebels may have turned over equipment to ISIS. Simon, it's a mess. I have no idea. You need a roadmap to figure out where we are.
No, it is a mess, and I'm not going to defend what's happened, and I'm not going to defend the administration's policies in Syria on this. This has been a mess. The question is, what do we do now? And I think we've got to focus on a political settlement in Syria itself, using the global powers, the regional powers. Russia has to be included in this. Syria has been an ally of theirs for a very long time, but we need the Saudis and the Qataris at the table as well. And we've got to step up the military campaign against ISIS.
I only have about 20 seconds, Rick.
So I think a year from now, we'll see where we are.
Can the GOP use this to their advantage in the election very quickly?
It depends on who it is. I think if it's Carly Fiorina or Marco Rubio or Jeb Bush, yes, because they are leaders when it comes to foreign policy. If Democrats nominate Hillary Clinton, she cannot run from this feckless policy. She designed it.
I know half of these are on her resume. We're going to have